success means happiness. Everyone wants happiness, but it just seems like a lot of people are just not happy in our society today. So why don't we just start by defining what success is for us?
Go for it, bro. Hit it.
I think what you said, happiness, as in success is subjective for every person. So everyone has their own thing that they want to get to. And the reason why I would equate success with happiness is because when you are in an unhappy situation and you want to get out of it, you might find that as your success. So you want to go towards that which would make you happy.
So maybe we can start by defining what happiness is for us instead of rather than success, because success is being defined by happiness, right?
It's subjective, as in if someone's in a bad situation, if you're at home and let's say you've got a broken leg and you're eating really badly, and let's just say you're gaining weight and you're not studying and all these things are piling up, you're in an unhappy situation. And your success for that, it might be like, for you want to get out of that situation so you become happy, right?
Yeah,
like that's
it varies.
to you. So everyone's got their own situation. So that person is going to have his own goals to go towards to be successful and get out of the situation that he's in.
Exactly. I think you have to categorize success and happiness. I mean, some people are just very career orientated and they just want success in their careers. Some people want success in other matters. I mean, it could be anything, immigration-wise, migrating to a different country, that's what their aim and their goal is. They want to take their family and migrate, and they're going to achieve that goal. Once they've achieved it, that's success. So you can't really say my success is the same as your success. You have your own aims and objectives in lives, and you're going to want to...
The objective, ultimate success is
the ultimate success.
To reach Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But
yeah.
Right now, we want to talk more on the basis of our lives,
the worldly
growing
successes,
up, as men and establishing ourselves in this world, and which is why I would say that for someone to want to be successful, it's so important that that person places goals in their life and is very decisive about those goals. So decisions are the father of all action. It's decisions. People say that change takes a long time. It doesn't. Change is instant. It's what takes a long time is waiting to decide. As soon as you decide, that's it. Khalas. That's it. You decided that this now is not a should. This is a must. Whatever goal that is, I'm going to go towards that no matter what. The thing is, a lot of people say, I should do this. I should do that. Or I'm confused about I don't know where to go and I shouldn't, I want to...
It's kind of robotic, isn't it? The thinking that people have. I think if we go back to the concept of having an objective kind of success, Allah being at the top, personally, that's when I decided to go for Allah, I found that my understanding of success was spiritual and not necessarily in a way that can't be defined, in a practical way. But I found myself breaking away from a materialistic kind of happiness where all I wanted to do was just get a big house and just live my life then, because I know a lot of people who are like that and they're just not happy.
But we should be ambitious at the same time.
Of course.
There are different spheres of life. So this is your spiritual life and that has to be healthy. But you also have the relationship part of life with your spouse. You have relationships with your parents, relationships with your children. Then you have the other sphere, the vocational sphere, the occupational sphere. You have your health as a sphere. These are all different spheres that you need to take care of. And you need to decide where you want to be on each one. And so you have to be ambitious. So you have to look towards something that you want to go towards. You don't want to settle for one sphere.
Of course, when I say spirituality, I don't necessarily mean it from just one angle. I mean taking everything into account, because otherwise it's very one-dimensional.
But it's what we don't want to fall into is when someone realizes that success is in religion, but then he disregards everything else, and that's wrong, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala wants you to work and be successful.
No, 100%. I mean, I think there's an ultimate success, which is reaching nearness to God, to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Reaching that highest pinnacle of God consciousness. But in order to obtain that, there's minor successes or milestones that one has to reach, and you have to go through the trials of life. As a man, you have to go through briefly what I touched upon in the previous episode. You're a son at one point in time. You have to be a successful son. Are you abiding by your parents' rules? Are you making them happy? Are you, anything? you're a brother. Are you a good brother to your sisters and your other brothers? You are a neighbor. Are you a good neighbor? You know, these are minor successes. Are you a good worker? Are you a good professional? Do you work well with others? Are you a good team member? Do you deliver your projects on time and do not cause any issues? Or do you overcome obstacles? So these are minor successes that develop you as a person, and your ultimate goal is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. You can't jump onto him without going through all these, you know, other trials and tribulations of life.
You live in this world,
Yeah.
so therefore you have to go through the system.
Definitely, and there's all these milestones. I think they're milestones. That's why I like to describe them. They're minor successes, but they're big in their own way, because without them you can't get to Allah.
Tell you that they have dreams, and they want to reach these dreams. What do you say to that person?
Go for it.
How though?
Well, I'm like that.
Everyone has these dreams, and how do you start with that? How do you go about that? That's what I'm trying to say right
Personally,
now. I think there should be a system
Yeah.
in place where you should be very specific about what you want. The reason why I'm saying goals and decide and specify is because you're never gonna get to where you want to be if you don't specify where you're going. You can have the best plane and the best car, but you're gonna just float around everywhere because you don't know where you're going. You don't know when you're gonna get there. You don't have deadlines.
You're wasting time,
right? So that's what I'm saying. Let's be real about this issue. As in, people have dreams, they have ambitions in this world, and they should be high. Like there's this guy I know who he always walks around my area. He's been doing it for years, and he's always in the roads, and he asks people for money. Okay, and I call him Pound Guy because he always asks for £1.
Okay, not 50p or
not
anything.
not £1.50 or not 50p and not £5. Even if you offer him, like sometimes I'll say I'll buy you a meal, so I know where the money's going.
He's
like no, I just want £1, boss. And Pound Guy gets me thinking sometimes, like, if you asked for £2, what would happen? As in, why don't you ask for more? Why are you always asking for only £1? And we should ask for more. When we are writing down our goals, and write them down, very important to write down the goals, because it's so different. You can always come back to them and look at them. But when you write down the goals, make sure they're high. Don't think about how you're going to get there. Don't think about that. Make them as unrealistic as you want. If that's what you want, that's what you want. Like, I go back to the goals I wrote a few years ago, and I'm like, okay, I've got that one, I've got that one, that one's still far away. And things that were so out of touch, but now they're in your head, subconsciously, it's in your mind, you start gravitating towards it, and you start expecting it for yourself. You wait, but it's a different kind of waiting. It's not the waiting of, I'm never going to get it, and it's a hopeless waiting. It's the waiting like, I know my time's coming. It's expecting waiting. And that just makes you a much more ambitious person, success minded, right? You're always aiming high, and you have a systematic way of going about this.
So you're saying basically to go out on the street and ask for £2, not £1. I'm joking, obviously.
If that's your ambition.
No, I mean, I get what he's saying.
We're not discouraging begging.
He's saying to go the extra mile.
I'm not talking about even money here. I'm talking about, what do you love? What do you love to do?
That's an important part of it, because having spoken to brothers in the community, younger brothers, they seem to be more concerned about what their parents want them to do rather than what they actually want to do. I think that's very important. Before you can even know what your goals are, you have to decide, what is it that I like to do?
You know what? There's all these different types of mentalities in young men, and like there's a book about masculinity called King, Warrior, Magician, Lover, about the psyche of the masculine. And he has these different metaphors. So when you manifest the king, when you manifest the magician, when you manifest the lover, and when you manifest the warrior, right? And the lover, the addicted lover, is the one that's, oh, I'm passionate about this, and I love that, and I'm passionate about this, but they don't actually ever do anything. It's always like, I feel passionate about this and that, and it's just a bunch of words. Then you have the clever magician, who is always like, yeah, I know what you're talking about. I know what that is about. I've read about all these things, and he's always, he never actually starts anything because he wants to know about everything. He's always just reading more, and he's reading, collecting information, but he doesn't actually try anything. So he doesn't actually embark on a journey, and you find a lot of people like that, I'm sure you guys would agree, where they have theories on everything, but they don't believe in anything, right? And what use is that? But then you don't have many warriors. The warriors who are disciplined and devoted to their goal when they decide, and no matter what's in the way, they go and they get it. Like, it doesn't matter what's happening. It doesn't matter how you feel. If you said at 7 a.m. you're going to do this, and at 10 a.m. you're going to do this, and at 1 p.m. you're going to do this, you just go and do it. It doesn't matter what's happening on the outside. You put in your head, it's not about how I feel. That's the successful person. When they do what they have to do, whether they feel like it or not. And if you can bring that warrior type of mentality, we don't have enough warriors. You need warriors to embark on the journey.
Why don't we have enough warriors? What's going on?
A lot of issues. Fear of the unknown, fear of failure, anxiety,
yeah,
right? Thinking of our own self, being trapped in the box of who we think we are,
yeah,
as in,
and how we
I'm
should
that
be
loser
reacting.
guy. I'm the guy that wasn't good at science in school.
So it's the fixed mindset. Because I was reading a book myself, and they were explaining how there's two different mindsets. There's the growth mindset and there's the fixed one. The fixed one is when, for example, if I didn't perform well in school, I'm always going to be that guy who doesn't perform well.
Yeah.
But instead of looking at something as a failure, you just look at it as a learning experience, and let me just learn from that and do better.
100%.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
You know, Ralph Waldo Emerson, he has a quote. He says, "Do the thing, and you will have the power." As in, you're always like saying, I want to do this, I want to do that. You're in this rut that you're in. You know, what should I do about it? Just do it. Do the thing, and you'll have the power. But you have to have that warrior mindset where it's like, I'm going to do it.
That really strong mindset to keep yourself going, stay
you
on
need-
that
you need
right
warrior,
track.
you need
Yeah,
more warrior. We have enough.
it's difficult. It's not easy.
We
It's
have enough
difficult.
addicted lovers, a lot of clever magicians. We need more warriors.
I slightly disagree with one thing that you said a little bit earlier, was have unrealistic goals. I don't think that's actually safe. I don't think that's something that you should be striving for, because let's say your goal is to fly. That ain't happening. You know, you don't have the
When I say
ability.
unrealistic
Unrealistic.
goals, that's not what I'm talking about.
Well,
I'm talking about
elaborate then, because-
physically impossible goals, or I'm not talking about that kind of thing.
You mean like getting?
I'm saying
I mean,
unrealistic goals, as in
Yeah.
what you sometimes people aim for what's realistic, and I don't know why you would want to do that. As in, aim for something so high if that's what you want. Don't let it stop you because you feel like that's unrealistic, because that's intimidation. By me saying
I get it
aim
now,
for
yeah.
unrealistic goals, I'm saying do not be intimidated by the size of the goal.
Right.
And by the way, when you have a
Dream
goal
big.
and you're going towards the goal, that might not be what you end up doing. But on the way, other doors open, right? And you wouldn't have encountered those doors if it wasn't for that
Yeah.
first goal. But having the goal there means that you encounter these different things. So like YouTube didn't exist 10, 15 years ago, right? So all the people who made a living off of YouTube right now, because of their craft, they didn't know about that, but they were honing their craft before.
Yeah.
YouTube came along, and then they used YouTube with their craft. So they were creative in what they had. And so now, then they were successful in their field. And so in 10 years' time, we don't know what the next YouTube is.
Yeah.
You don't know what's next. But if you have a craft, if you're trying to master something, mastery, we don't have mastery anymore. Real masters that go out there and master a craft. If you're mastering something and something that you're passionate about and you love, and you're being a lover and you're being a magician and you're being a warrior about it, and then you end up as a king, and if you're doing that, then you will be successful.
Reach for the skies, as Buzz Lightyear said. I'm gonna finish
To
there.
infinity and beyond. I would say 3 rules, and I say this everywhere I go. If you're going to write down your goals, and people say, how should I write down my goals? Ask yourself 3 questions and write these questions down. And you might not know them straight away, but you have to think about them and really sit down and think. Like, stop everything, sit down and think. What do I want? Why do I want it? And what will I do now? And be so sincere and honest with yourself when you're answering those questions, because because a lot of people don't know what they even want.
Yeah.
And this will give you a small diagram and system by which way to go.
guys, we've gone deep, but that's all we have time for today.